In Sky Bet League 2, we've got two teams who are 3 from 3 to start the season. Chesterfield are one of them. They beat Bristol Rovers by 3-1, and for the first time in 25 years have won their first 3 games to start an EFL season. There was a red card in this game from Senior, the Bristol Rovers right back, and it's for a last man foul. And he so nearly does enough, George, to be just the right side of the sort of being physical without fouling someone line. And then there's a left hand that pulls a bit of shirt in full view of the ref. And that is an offence, unfortunately. And because of what's happening and because it's a goal scoring opportunity, if there's a foul of any kind, whether it's a small tug or being punched in the face, it's a red card because it's a clear goal scoring opportunity. It obviously gave Bristol Rovers a mountain to climb when, frankly, they've been in such poor form. It was the last thing they needed. Perfect looping header from Tom Naylor put Chesterfield ahead. And then Bristol Rovers managed to punch their way back into it. Kilgore having a shot saved, almost scoring for you on the betting show.
I think it was actually blocked. I know it was saved, wasn't it? There was a man on the line behind him. That's what made me feel better.
Hutchinson stabbing in. Then we saw 3 chances for Lee Bonnis, Chesterfield's new striker. None of them taken, but getting into good positions. And then I don't know if you've ever seen a salmon leaping, but looked a lot.
Haven't we all?
Looked a lot like Carl McFadden.
Yeah.
Beautiful near post flick into the far corner for 2-1. And it was good night, Irene, when Markanday found Mandeville, found Dobra for a 3-1 win for Chesterfield. So from a Bristol Rovers point of view, I'm very concerned. This isn't the game to get upset about of the ones they've played so far with 10 men away at probably the best team in the league. Not the one to get really, really angry about. They had done pretty well before the red card as well, so I'm just sad that we didn't get to see whether they might have achieved something better in this game without the red card. But from a Chesterfield point of view, what a strong start to the season. When everyone's sort of flagging you as kind of the team that should kick on and be dominant, to win your first 3 games is just perfect. The fact that off the bench, they got Darcy coming off the bench, Fleck, Grigg, Adam Lewis and Liam Mandeville is really impressive. And then the fact that going into the season, the main concern was defensively. That's what scuppered them last season, that and injuries. And guess what? They've only faced 6 shots on target so far in 3 games. Only MK have faced fewer shots on target. So one of the best teams defensively so far. And then guess what? In attack, 21 shots on target in 3 games, 5 more than any other side in League 2. Crewe and Grimsby on 16. And Crewe and Grimsby are considered to have had electric starts to the season. And that just shows the strength of Chesterfield, I think. People might take them for granted a bit if this is how good they're going to be. I have no reason to believe right now that our prediction of them winning this league is going to be too far wide of the mark. Chesterfield 3 out of 3, along with Crewe, who won the Crewe derby against Crawley.
They did.
By 1-0.
Star of the show was Tommy O'Reilly, who scored a brilliant finish to make it 1-0 after 23 minutes. And then absolutely walloped the woodwork twice. Once from open play, once with a brilliant free kick. He's an interesting player who is clearly very highly rated, and kind of when he made the loan move from Villa out to Shrewsbury last season, all the kind of reports from Villa fans was, this guy's too good for League One, he's going to tear up, he's going to, as Premier League fans often do when their starter goes to League One, they're like, he's going to tear that league up. And actually it's not that easy, and often first loans in particular can be hard. But in hindsight, spending the first half of last season at Shrewsbury and the second half of last season where he did okay, but not great, and he was taken out and sent to a lower level at MK for a side that looked a way better fit in terms of style of play. But MK turned out to be a terrible place to try and nurture young talent in the second half of last season because it was seemingly fairly toxic. But I'm sure, as we often see with player development and these loans where things don't go well, whilst it provides absolutely no benefit at all towards the club who are loaning the player often comes on a lot from those. And it feels like with O'Reilly, that's the case now. This is his 3rd loan. He, any ideas he has around, any complacency around the level he's playing at or anything else will be shelved. And he's looking incredibly lively and has been a big part of this very fun Crewe side who've started the season so well. Some signs of life from Crawley, I'd say, in the second half. They've been really poor this season, but they managed to kind of fashion a few opportunities, especially in the last kind of 25, 30 minutes or so, but weren't able to break Crewe down. So,
tell you something that coincided with the introduction off the bench of Kaheem Dixon, who they signed on Friday. There was a great quote from Scott Lindsay saying, he was on the bus with us on Friday to the game, but we hadn't signed him yet. And something basically went wrong. They thought they weren't going to be able to sign him, and they were Googling what station to drop him off at.
No way.
Because he was going to have to get the train back to London. They got the deal done, and Tim, who's a Crewe fan, made a point of messaging the NTT20 Squad League 2 channel and saying, Kaheem Dixon needs to be on everyone's radar. Came off the bench and was an absolute menace. He's raw, but that kid has some serious talent. His first 2 times in possession, he dribbled past literally half our team. That's the sort of thing that sends me to Y-Scout being like, probably didn't dribble past literally half the team. No, he did. Yeah, no, he definitely did.
18 caps for Jamaica.
Yeah.
So, he's played a lot of football, just not really for the first teams. On loan from Charlton. I made a couple of appearances last season. But yes, let's add him to the list.
Fleetwood against Crewe is a standout fixture in midweek in League 2. And we do a show called Under the Lights on NTT20.com. It's a bonus podcast for our paid subscribers. And it's basically Monday pod style recapping of midweek action. So if you are interested in that, head to NTT20.com. There'll be an episode out on Wednesday breaking down the best action from League 1 and League 2 on Tuesday night. George, MK 5, Cheltenham 0.
Yeah, this is the MK that I think we all thought we were going to be getting. It was complete and utter dominance in terms of what happened in both boxes. It was no kind of fancy possession play whatsoever. It was really, really efficient, making the most of set pieces, making the most of the talents of the players that they've, the undoubted talent that they've got. Sanders, who's been an absolute rock for them, and I think is going to be a huge player for them this season, scoring from the set piece to open the scoring. Gilby, as he often does, just popping up in the edge of the box with a nice finish. Callum Patterson, profiting for some pretty sloppy set piece defending from Cheltenham. Then Hepburn Murphy, as he will do, scoring a goal on the break, and the main with a really nice finish to make it 5. Kind of, it's like a perfect blend of individuals that Paul Warne is meshing into this team. And yeah, of course, Cheltenham don't look to be particularly strong this season, and you'd expect MK to beat them, but the manner in which they did it, and I guess you and I spoke in our 1-24s about the possibility of it of MK taking some time to kind of get used to Warne's methods and integrate the players that they brought in together. It looked like quite a smart thing to say after their 0-0 draw against Oldham on opening day, but since then it's been pretty impressive stuff from MK in their 2 league games since, beating Barrow 2-0 and then 5-0 against Cheltenham. 7 clean sheets now in a row for Paul Warne's.
Haven't conceded a goal yet under him. It's just crazy.
Yeah, ridiculous. I did mention in the last pod that they hadn't conceded a shot on target, and I was wrong because Fondop had an effort from 25 yards that dribbled through to McGillivray. So apologies for that.
Can you not come on here and spread misinformation?
But what I will say,
it can be very dangerous.
Essentially, what I will say is that Cheltenham had 2 shots on target.
Wow.
So that's pretty good work.
That's twice as many as Oldham had.
Correct.
Next opponent's going to have 4.
How many more than Barrow?
How many did Barrow have?
0.
Oh, right. 2 more.
Exponentially more.
Yeah, you can't even multiply that. Can't multiply 0 by
2
anything.
2 times 0 is...
Which I think
we can, but it's just 0.
Sure. Yeah, okay, good point.
Thank you.
Oldham 1, Swindon 2. This was, of course, big game between the 2 teams that finished bottom of the Premier League, 93-94. The only 2 League 2 clubs who have Premier League history, of course, now that Bradford have gone up. And what history it is too. Swindon getting revenge here for Oldham, doing the Premier League double over them back in 93-94. Joe Snowden shooting inside the near post for his first league goal. Mentioned him on the pod last week. Right wing back, who they signed from Leeds. Young player making a bit of an impact there. Pretty messy defending from Oldham. An error from Hannant, and then an error from Mont. And Snowden making the most of that. A nice passing move then saw Oldham get pulled apart down their left side. Snowden cutting it back to Nichols, who just popped it in the top corner. I sent a mole to this game. That's actually a complete lie. Someone I know went to the game and told me some stuff about it. And I asked him for an Oldham player to mention, because just looking for individuals in this Oldham side that we're getting to know, that I can sort of get excited about. He said it was pretty slim pickings. This was a poor Oldham performance, and we expected better from them. But Quigley got a shout out. He scored their goal, which was a nice header. But also, Mole said that he made it stick up top. He was the player to turn the tide in the first half, ran the channels, and had a bit of quality in his delivery as well. So well done, Joe Quigley, for getting the Mole mention for this one. But it's back-to-back wins for Swin. And I think specifically to win without Ollie Clark or Gavin Kilkenny, very, very impressive. Tom Nichols is now a full-on central midfielder, which I think is great fun. And they did some funky stuff. The Mole messaging that Will Wright, who plays centre-back in a 3, when they were in possession high up the pitch, Wright would step into midfield, into more of a number 6 position. The other centre-backs would go man for man with Oldham's attackers. And Wright was picking up a lot of pieces, a lot of sort of half clearances and regaining possession and restarting attacks for Swindon. So that looked like quite a nice little tactical tweak from Holloway that worked quite well. If I'm being really picky with Swindon, I want to see them have a bit more of a threat on the break when they're ahead. That's 2 weeks in a row now. Cambridge are now here where they've got the win, but when they've gone ahead, they've not really looked like extending their leads, and that is just asking for trouble. You do that too much, you will concede equalising goals. Holloway himself said they crawled over the line here. That wasn't the best quote from the post-match interviews. Mickey Mellon used the phrase, "We were a wee bit huffy-puffy."
I know how he feels.
It's incredible.
Every Monday morning.
He'd be good on this pod using phrases like that. Missing a lot of energy in the centre of the park with Payne and Pett out, I think. George Grimsby beating Newport by 2-1, a late winner, but they had it coming.
They did. Yeah, they did. They scored incredibly early and incredibly late. I love a 1 and a 90+4 for the 2 goals.
Lovely that. That's lovely.
Courtney Baker-Richardson scoring an own goal to put Town 1-0 up within a minute. And then, because just don't buy the curtain here, I didn't watch the whole game. I watched extended highlights.
Right.
But, as obviously, because if we watched the whole game of every single game, we probably wouldn't be able to get to recording on time.
Sure.
Why? Because the highlight for the Newport equaliser starts quite a long time before the goal is scored.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Baker, who scores the goal, is a centre back, and he's just right up front, he's just in between the sticks. It's a brilliant ball from.
Is it just a really extended second phase of a set piece?
But the weird thing about it,
because I think Jenkins was in there as well.
But it starts with the ball being passed across the Newport back line.
Yeah, I noticed this as well. It was
really weird. Yeah. I couldn't work out what happened. Anyway, he scored. It was a great ball from Reindorf on the right hand side, and Baker. With a really good finish, a proper striker's finish, to finish off the chance. This was after Zanev had saved a penalty from your boy, Jays Cabia, who he's been getting a lot of pens, been scoring them. This time he missed it. So, Grimsby kind of knocking on the door before that man, Kieran Green, sent the Town fans into raptures in the 4th minute of stoppage time. Grimsby hosting Manchester United in the Carabao Cup in 10 days or so. Just feels like a great time to be a Town fan, really.
Yeah, they're looking so exciting.
They are looking really good. And it's interesting because I mentioned they're getting a lot of penalties, but they're getting a lot of penalties because they're getting in the box the whole time. Their ball progression has been so impressive so far this season. David Artell is just really good, I think, and it's taken him. It hasn't been an immediate quick fix, but he took over a side that were threatened from relegation from out of League Two, and he kept them up. And then last season they pushed into a mid-table side who were on the fringes of the playoffs and didn't quite get in. And then this iteration with a couple of additions, but still quite a lot of continuity, just look like they could be one of the best teams in the league. And I'm excited to see it progress.
They've had 117 touches in the opposition box. That's the top of League Two. Not a phrase. That's at the top of the League Two touches in the box table. By an absolute mile. Swindon second on 84. Got 33 more than the next best.
So my eyes don't deceive me.
Camped out in the opposition box.
Yeah, hence they're getting all the pens.
Hey, tell me about Shrewsbury 0, Colchester 2.
Shrewsbury 0, Colchester 2.
Episode 2 of Ultimate Lisby.
Yeah.
And what a treat we were served up for episode 2. Possibly the weirdest goal of the season so far.
So this is
absolutely insane goal.
Yeah, if you're a Shrewsbury fan and you've had to endure a relegation, a failed takeover, and then a home game against Colchester, Samson Tavida has a goal chalked off for offside, and then he scores shortly afterwards. Your loanee McDermott from Burnley gets sent off with 25 minutes to go. You're still in the game though. Maybe even with 10 men, you can force an equaliser. Colchester get a free kick, and George Lloyd, who we know is a big worker, loves off the ball stuff. He's so desperate to intercept the free kick that he jumps in front of the ball, which is so far away from goal, and unwittingly just plays a 40-yard defence splitting through ball to the opposition striker in Lisby, who slots it home. I've never really seen a goal like it before. Well, I think he's just desperate. I mean, he's obviously trying to intercept it in the hope that either he can trap it or it just goes
So you
10
don't
yards
think
back.
that's a first-time pass to someone? You think that's just like an insane ricochet that's gone 50 yards?
I think it's neither. I think it's an interception.
Right.
Of which I think he just hopes the ball, he's just trying to stop the ball, trying to get in between the. I mean, it's not in a very dangerous area at all.
No.
So the need to do it, it's just one of those goals that seems to happen when things aren't going your way. And for Shrewsbury at the moment, things are just consistently not going their way. And they look to me to be one of the worst teams in the league, as we were worried that they would be at the beginning of the season. And yeah, I mean, I'm, as a fully fledged paid up member, or even maybe the chairman of the Michael Appleton fan club, it's a hard watch at the moment because there's no real redeeming features to what's going on there right now.
Samson Tavide wearing Samson on his shirt. Samson 9, I think it is. Just excited that he's still wearing a Colchester shirt because heavy transfer rumours a week or so ago. He missed out one of the games, wasn't in the squad because of it, but that seems to have fallen through and he's still playing for Col U. And it was a lovely first touch to set himself up for his goal, having, as you say, already had one disallowed. Barnet 1, Walsall 2. Great win for Matt Sadler's. I really liked the bones of the first goal, right? So Stussel, the new young striker, he got on the ball on the left-hand side where he had drifted, came inside. Lakin, left-sided central midfielder, number 8, went out round the outside, absolutely busted a gut to get down the left, and Stuttle found him with a really nice threaded pass. The ball from Lakin, hard and low across the box, finished by the late arriving right wing back, Connor Barrett. So you've got a goal where the striker has passed to the central midfielder who set up the right wing back. And I just think modern football's great. I love it. Not great defending from Barnet, I think it's fair to say. I imagine Dean Brennan wasn't thrilled with that. And then the other goals were a set-piece goal each. Hancock to Presley for Walsall's second goal, and then Hartigan to Hawkins for Barnet's goal. And they're just not quite there, are they, Barnet? We're obviously keen for them to be good because we went quite strong on them pre-season. They've got 0 points from 3 games. The sharpness, the coherence, the details that I expected a title-winning team to carry into the new season just aren't quite there at the moment. And they're not horrendous. They're not getting absolutely battered, but it's only 1 goal so far, this one. And it's from a set piece as well. They didn't create much from open play here. And though that's not unusual against Walsall because they have a very good open play defensive record, it's a bit of a concern from the Barnet point of view.
Agreed.
And what a sound relief it was coursing through Holker Street as Barrow beat Notts County in injury time for their first win of the season. Went ahead through Tyler Walker, set up by Barkhazen. I feel like we're back in 2017 here. Walker's first EFL goal since March 2023. That was for Coventry at Huddersfield, can you believe? Really nice work from Barkey for that goal. And they're pretty good for it, Barrow. And Notts are not good for much at the moment, but did equalise near the end of the game. Cerula picking out Matthew Dennis with a terrific header into the far corner. And then a horrible goal celebration with some of the worst body language you've ever seen.
What's happened there?
Yeah.
Like, is it a case where we shouldn't be celebrating a last-minute equaliser at Barrow?
But it wasn't exactly get the ball either, was it?
He just walked. Did it hit him in the nose?
Maybe he had a sore nose.
It was weird. It was proper.
Someone had to push him over to the away fans to celebrate.
It was also in front of the fans. Yeah, really bleak that.
Well, it got bleaker.
Yeah.
Right? Because the winner from Lewis Shipley, first, let's be honest, hell of a take from a centre-back.
And great celebration.
Great celebration. So 2 ticks in the Shipley box. And well done to Barrow, but I can't help but point out that from a Notts point of view, this is an absolute horror show of a goal to concede. You've just equalised away from home. They left themselves with 3 defenders in the box up against 4 beefy Barrow boys as the ball came in. They obviously lost the flick on. They got out-muscled by Shipley and he scored. It's just so unimpressive. I want to see something from Notts that isn't being a bit negative about them. But I think that goal really summed up their start to the season. And I'm sensing an early taste of toxicity as well from the stands, from within the fan base. So it's concerning. What else can you say? Massive win for Barrow, though. They lost their first 2 games. They've got Harrogate away and then Col U away in the week. So without this win, if they struggle on their travels this week, things will be looking pretty bleak. But as it is, they're on the board. Salford City, they beat Accrington by 2-1.
Yeah, they did. Salford continuing a pretty good run of form at the moment. Accrington seem to be one of these sides who are playing quite well but can't really get anything for their performances. Salford taking the lead early on through Ben Woodburn. with a nice strike, and then Luke Garbutt with a brilliant free kick shortly afterwards, putting Salford 2-0 up, and maybe deservedly so. Accrington off the back of that. And I think they looked pretty good throughout. They scored a penalty through Walton with 5 minutes to go. They had opportunities within the game. They were by no means kind of totally outclassed throughout. But I guess when you're 2-0 down, often that can be the case. Kind of takeaways from this, I wouldn't be going overboard on Salford off the back of this performance and result, albeit 2 quality strikes from 2 guys who have a lot of quality.
2 guy? Scored a quality strike?
Turkish delight.
Unlike him.
Scored a couple.
Obviously.
What a player.
That's always what he's known for, scoring absolute worldies all the time.
If you actually saw his work rate off the ball and his ability to break down play and recycle possession, he was more than just a Barclays goal merchant.
Just 2 guys talking about 2 guys. Stop wittering.
Premier League player 2 guy. Shouldn't be talking about him. Yes. Accrington, I'm not that worried about. Salford not going overboard with is basically what I was trying to say in 5 minutes rather than 5 seconds.
Cool. 3 draws. Tranmere 1, Gillingham 1. Possibly should have been 0-0 this one, in that, can't say definitively, but the Tranmere opening goal, it did look like Josh Davison may have been in an offside position before he set up Omari Patrick. And then the Gillingham goal, very late on, scored by Joseph Bode. Not only was there, to my eyes anyway, a pretty clear foul on the keeper, but I also think Bode was about a yard offside before he managed to sort of scramble it in. Apart from that, totally legit goal. Both teams may have had slightly unlegit goals, cancelled each other out. 1-1 draw, not a huge surprise that the game played out the way that it did play out. Gills have only had 3 shots on target in their 3 league games so far. Just putting that out there. If I were them, I'd be trying to shoot at the goal more. Cambridge 1, Harrogate 1. Louis Apperet putting Cambridge ahead. And it was somewhat comical that they weren't further ahead because they dominated after going ahead, but they didn't get the second goal. And we know what happens. Stephen Duke McKenna scores acrobatic volleys against you, and you fail to pick up 3 points at home against a team that you should have beaten. So credit to Harrogate for working their way back into that game and getting a point. Last but not least, Bromley 2, Fleetwood 2. Injury time equaliser from James Norwood of Fleetwood. They'd gone ahead through Bolton, scrambling home a set piece. Then we had 2 Bromley goals. Cheek to Dinanga, Crowhouse to Kabamba, who did an incredible Flappy Bird celebration. Some wingspan he's got, Kabamba. Lynch made a big save for Fleetwood, which would have won it easily for Bromley, kept them in the game, and then they made a double sub. Evans and Norwood on. Evans sets up Norwood for the equaliser. So pretty tough to take, I think, for Bromley between the missed chances, a penalty not given that looked pretty stonewall to me. Disappointing for them not to get the 3 points. Andy Woodman signing a new contract last week. Great news for Bromley. So Under the Lights will be hitting your feeds if you're an NTT20.com paid subscriber on Wednesday. That'll be a breakdown of the best action from League 1 and League 2 in midweek. So do head to NTT20.com for that. With a massive thank you to Sky Bet for sponsoring Not the Top 20 podcast and the Sky Bet EFL Building Foundations Fund as well. We're back out on the road over the next few weeks and really excited to tell you all the stories from the Sky Bet EFL Building Foundations Fund over the course of the season. Thanks for listening to us wittering on for longer than it takes a football match to happen. Go well.